As you can see from the sun, it is midday. It was here that I first saw the teacher from Nazareth. He was sitting by the well. He looked hot, tired and thirsty. At first I didn't pay any attention to him. In fact, I pretended I never noticed him. I used to come here every day to fetch water. It's tiring work in the hot sun. But normally it's not so bad because there are other women here and we sit and have a chat. On that day he was all alone. The women had already gone. On the way here, I'd heard his friends say that they were going to town to buy some food. Our town is called Sychar in the region of Samaria. So I came to the well as usual, and there he was, the man they called Jesus. Just as I was about to draw water, he said to me,
"Give me a drink."
I was very surprised that he, a Jew, could ask something of me. You must know there was no friendship between the Jews and my people, the Samaritans. They considered us of mixed blood, and they considered us lower than them. It is true that we have married people of other races, and as such we were considered half pagan. We, for our part, wanted nothing to do with the Jews. We didn't even worship at the same temple they worshipped in Jerusalem. We had built our own temple in Gerizim. That's where we worshipped. So you can imagine what I felt like when he asked me for a drink. I felt he was lowering himself by even speaking to me. I told him, "What? You, a Jewish teacher, asking me for a drink?" But he was not put off by my words. He replied to me in a strange way. And he said,
"If you only knew what God is offering and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have been the one to ask, and he would have given you living water."
I found that a bit much. So I asked him, "Sir, you have no bucket, and the well is deep. How will you get this living water?" He answered me with even stranger words.
"Whoever shall drink this water will be thirsty again. But anyone who drinks the water that I shall give will never be thirsty again. The water that I shall give will turn into a spring inside that person, welling up to eternal life."
I did not understand at all what he meant about this living water, but I thought to myself, this could be a good solution to me not having to come every day to fetch water. So I quickly asked him how he could give me this living water so I wouldn't have to come here every day. Suddenly he changed the conversation and asked me to go and fetch my husband. I didn't know what to say, so I said, "I have no husband." This came as no surprise to him. He said that I was right in saying that I had no husband, as I had lived with 5 men before, and the man I was living now with was not my husband. It was as if he was seeing right through me, like he knew the secrets of my life. It was my turn to change the conversation. I was not happy talking about my personal life. He looked like a prophet, so I thought I'd talk about religion. I was more comfortable with that. But even on that, he had mysterious words. He didn't seem to mind that some people worshipped in Jerusalem and some of us worshipped on Mount Gerizim. What he felt was most important was that you should worship the Father in spirit and in truth. He said the time is coming where there will be many such worshippers. I wasn't sure what he meant by that, but I told him that I knew that the Messiah, the Christ, would come and he would explain everything to us. Looking at me, he simply said,
"I who am speaking to you, I am he."
He said this to me, a woman who knew 5 men and was living with another? I looked at him. He seemed an ordinary man, but there was something not ordinary about him. When he spoke to you, you felt your heart touched in such a special way. I saw his friends coming back from town with food, and I quickly put my jar down, and I ran to town to tell the people what had happened to me. I told everyone, come with me, and come and meet a man who has told me everything about myself. I wondered, is he really the Christ? So the people came and listened to him, and they begged him to stay. He agreed and stayed for 2 days. After that, the people told me that they believed everything he said, not because of what I had told them, but because they had heard him with their own ears. As for me, whenever I come here to draw water, I think of him, and I remember the words he told me. Whoever drinks of the water that he gives shall never be thirsty again. I suppose this is true for me. I'm no longer thirsty for the love that I used to run after in the past. Some of you may be thirsty. Thirsty for recognition and acceptance. Thirsty for understanding and love. Or thirsty for something that will give meaning to your life. Why not turn to Jesus? As he himself said to me, if you only knew what God is offering.